Hey guys, Bullion Bites back again with another video. This time I'm going to be talking to you about a haul I got from a gun show that came through town recently. For those of you that don't know, gun shows are another place where you can sometimes find, gold, silver, bullion, kind of really nice odds and ends, obvious things like guns, ammunition. I wanted to talk to you about some of the stuff that I picked up at that show and kind of show you some of it and what my thoughts were. Some things to be aware of when you're talking to vendors and people at those shows. So this was out in Tennessee, where I am right now, and I'd say it was a medium-sized venue. They probably think they have a show there every 3 or 4 times a year. Last one I went to, there was a guy that was out there. It looked like it was a coin dealer or like a cash for gold place that was trying to just liquidate a bunch of 10-ounce bars when the market was hot for those. I didn't want to jump on them at the time because the premiums were pretty high. This time they weren't there. There was the same usual cast of local shops, local gun shops, guys trying to sell jerky, the usual gun show stuff. If you've never been to one, go and check one out. Highly recommend it. It's a couple of bucks to get in, but it's definitely something you should look into one time if you're able to, at least once. So there was one guy that was there. He was selling, he had a coin collection. He seemed like he was a legitimate coin vendor, and then he had some private guns for sale and some old tactical equipment. So nice guy. Gave me his business card. He's in the area. Wanted to show you some of the things I picked up from him. So this was, I would say, probably the find of the day, minus the fact that it's in a, what you'd consider like a sham grading company. So this is called, I think, Numa Trust Corporation. It is a 1928, but Numa Trust Corporation is not really a well-recognized or well-known, I should say, coin grading company. So that's something to be aware of, or something to watch out for, is sham slabs or sham grading companies. Something to be aware of, but it was a good find. Came to a pretty good price, pretty good deal on that one. Another one was this MS-63 1922 piece dollar. Common date, but for what I paid for this, it was less than getting a common date one and getting that sent into PCGS to get it graded. Usually it runs like 30 plus bucks to do that, and it takes them forever and a day to get stuff back to you. Another one, this is a great one, 1935S. This one and that 1928 are more key date for that series. So anybody else that's trying to do the piece dollar squeeze, see if you can find those and you can get a good deal on them. It's something to try and grab early. He also had a couple of really nice old school Perth Mint Series 1 1-ounce Year of the Dog, and this one I was surprised he had. It's a 1-ounce 2020 Year of the Mouse, Perth Series 3 lunar round, or I should say coin. There was another guy that was there. He was selling stuff out of, that he had brought to the show. He was trying to mainly sell pocket knives. He was an older guy. And I was talking to him about, what he had. And he, I guess thought he could try and pull one over on me or something. I don't know. But he was asking like $300 for a half a dozen piece dollars, which is like 50 bucks a piece. And I said, no way. I said, would you take 25, 28? And he's, we couldn't meet in the middle, couldn't come to an agreement. So, shook his hand, said, okay, maybe next time, and I went on my way. When you're at a show like that, you don't want to throw out an insulting offer to somebody, but you also don't want them to, try and take advantage of you either. There has to be a, reasonable middle ground. That's all I'm going to say about that one. I did get some other medals at the show, so I got a bunch of these guys, some 9mm, some of these guys, some 5.56, and some of these guys. So that's going to kind of tie into the second half of this video, which is, once you get a good base of metals on hand, once you get past a couple ounces of silver, you get past like a quarter ounce, half ounce of gold, you kind of realize, I've got the equivalent of a couple $1,000 worth of stuff just, whether it's sitting out on a desk like this, which I don't do. This stuff just comes out so I can show it to you on videos. But you want to make sure you can keep your stuff, safe and secure, and, not telling anybody to go out and use this one, or use this one, but you definitely want to make sure you're keeping anything that you're paying for, just like anything else that's important to you, you're keeping it safe. So that means, don't go out, tell everybody in your family and your friends, your neighborhood. Don't go tell the guy at the gas station, hey, check out this cool, shiny, coin I got. I paid $800 for this. Or don't go and tell them, oh yeah, I just got this ½ ounce of gold, and I got it at home. And it's in a sock drawer. You don't want, the only people that should really know where you have precious metals is yourself, your spouse, if you're married, and then, one, I would say, really trusted friend or family member. So if anything does happen to you, because life happens, it's not just going to disappear and no one knows about it, or it's not going to, get picked up by cleaners or somebody else that's, shouldn't be snooping around and they happen to be. How often have you heard stories of, grandma or grandpa needed to get a hospice care or a caregiver, or, they couldn't take care of the house, so they got a maid, or they had a nanny that came to the house, or a dog walker. There's all kinds of reasons or all kinds of people that could be, wandering into your house for legitimate reasons and then happen to go peeking around, because people by nature are generally a little bit curious, and you want to make sure you keep your, assets, make sure you're keeping your precious metals in a safe and secure place. And if you keep them at home, one thing to be very, very aware of is most homeowners insurance policies will have a special rider or a special exclusion for gold and silver and for jewelry. And that's something that you don't want to learn the hard way. I know some people that did. Cost them a couple $1,000, or they lost a couple $1,000 worth of stuff, and the insurance company basically told them, like, hey, we'll cover everything except that, $10,000 worth of jewelry that you lost. That was really kind of the main point of the video, kind of some of my, thoughts on security and gun show, some things that you can, attempt to pick up, or you can try to get, a hold of. It doesn't happen at every show. Some of the bigger gun shows, you'll see stuff like that. Man, I can't get over, how nice that coin looks. But, whenever you're at an event like that, or you see something like that coming into town, the extra, I would say $10 to go to a show like that, it's not, a lot, especially if there's another reason for you to go. So it's just something to keep in mind. So when you go, you always want to remember, if you're trying to get stuff from private sales, or you're just trying to get stuff from a guy that's there, they're not always going to have, a credit card reader, or, they might not necessarily take a check, because, who are you to them that they're going to, take a check and it's going to end up being a bogus check or something like that. So having cash is still king. Having cash on hand at a show like that gives you a lot more options. Now, if you're going to buy something from, a legitimate, gun vendor there, legitimate gun shop at the show, usually they'll have a credit card reader right there on hand. They'll have laptop set up so they can run your background check right there. So you can, in most states, you can, get it, walk out with it same day. If you're approved for your background check almost immediately. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make here is, finding precious metals, finding, what some people like to call freedom seeds. It's the place to go. It's the place to find them. You might find some rare finds like these ones here, but it's not necessarily the case. But if you're not ready for the opportunity when it comes up, like I've said in previous videos, you might miss out on a really good opportunity because of either a timing or a coordination issue. That's really all I had for this video, guys. Wanted to let you go on that one. Keep stacking, and I will see you on the next one.